I'm going to talk to you about Forza Horizon 4, and I'm going to give you a little bit of overview into how we made one of our DLC packs called LEGO Speed Champions. So to start with, I wanted to give you a little bit of an overview into Playground Games. So we were established in 2010. We have 2 studios in Leamington Spa. We now have over 200 employees, and last year we became a Xbox game studio. So I put a couple of shots in. So this is our older studio, so Rossmore House. So this is where we make the Forza Horizon franchise. And we've just opened a new studio earlier this year. And this is St Albans House. So this is at the top of Leamington, and this is for our RPG project. You can see that we've got a number of rooms. Some of them are specialists. So this is one of our audio rooms that we have hooked up. So I wanted to explain a little bit about what we do. So obviously, last year we released Forza Horizon 4, and we released this in September 2018. This is the 4th iteration of the Horizon franchise, and this one is set here in beautiful Britain. We have released a DLC pack at the end of the year, and this was called Fortune Island, and this is where you go and you conquer extreme terrain. You battle lightning storms and perilous roads in search of treasure. And we have also created Forza Horizon 4 LEGO Speed Champions, and we released that in June 2019. And that is what I'm going to talk about today. So just before I do that, I'll play you a quick video and hope that the sound is all good.
Skill, nerve, cutting-edge performance vehicles, oh, and bricks. Lots and lots and lots of LEGO bricks. We've teamed up with LEGO to create the biggest event Horizon has ever assembled. It's time for LEGO Speed Champions. Take on hundreds of brick challenges. Build your very own LEGO house. And then fill your garage with scaled-up racing machines to take on the competition and be crowned the ultimate LEGO Speed Champion. Time to play with the biggest LEGO toy box you've ever seen.
So that was LEGO Speed Champions. Today I'm going to talk about a little bit of how we kind of got to the idea of doing LEGO Speed Champions, how we first built our first blocks, the cars, the world, how we managed to match reality with this, some of the themes that run through LEGO, humour obviously being one of them that you've seen there, and then a little bit about the Forza community. So this is hopefully to give you a bit of an insight into what we do to be able to achieve even something like this that is just a DLC pack for us. There's still a lot of work that goes into it. So first of all, we knew what LEGO was. We're all big kids at heart, definitely when you look in the games development industry. And we all have LEGO. Some of us have LEGO on our desks already. But specifically, we wanted to find out what LEGO Speed Champions was all about. So LEGO Speed Champions is a collection of cars that the LEGO company produce. And they're normally about six studs wide, and they normally fit a minifig inside as well. And they're really fun to build, and I know this from experience. And we wanted to know kind of how they get put together and how they work. So we went out and bought some. As you can see here, this is a shot I took of our office. We actually bought quite a lot of the Speed Champions cars, and we had lots of fun putting them together. We bought quite a lot of LEGO as well, and this is just a small selection of the LEGO that we had. We encouraged the artists to take some LEGO from some of the creative packs. So the bowl that you can see there is just one of the creative packs. And actually take it to their desk so that they can handle it, they can look at it, and they can feel what it looks like. It's very rare that we're able to do this because when we're making Forza Horizon, there is no chance that we can go out and buy a McLaren Senna for the studio, let alone every artist's desk. So they don't normally get to get hands-on really with some of the things that they're building, but it's great that we're able to do it here. So now we know what LEGO Speed Champions were. What we want to do is make sure that we can replicate the quality that LEGO hold very dearly in game. So first of all, we went and built a LEGO brick, just a single LEGO brick. And when we started to build it, we realized that LEGO isn't just a square block. There's a lot of detail in LEGO, and we have to replicate that to stay true to LEGO. You can even see the molding imperfections that come through on Lego that we've replicated as well. So then we added some textures and we said, yeah, this is kind of what Lego feels like. This is what we should be aiming for. We can make a Lego block. We also did a minifig just to kind of get a feel for what they're going to look like. And you can see that we can make Lego blocks. And the materials are starting to look right. And this was kind of like the first little prototype that we did to say, can we build Lego? But we just don't want to build blocks. We want to build full sets. And building full sets is very different from just putting a few blocks together. So what we did is we contacted the Lego group and we said, what can we do to be able to do this? And they showed us some software that they use. It used to be publicly available, but they've stopped supporting it publicly, but they do support it internally. And this is called the Lego Digital Designer. You can basically virtually build Lego in here. You can also save out sets and load sets. So they were able to send us some sets that they'd already built, some like pre-designed sets. And then we got into agreement that we could start using this. So we thought, let's do a prototype. We took one of their sets. This is what it looks like in Lego Digital Designer. We moved it into our pipeline, so our 3D package, which is 3ds Max. And then we put it into, we actually put it into Horizon 4 to start with. So we just put it in our main world just to see what it looks like. And this is what it looks like. You can see we've started to build a few other elements as well. So we can build stuff, we can get assets in, we know what Speed Champions is going to be. But how do you go about making Forza Horizon Lego Speed Champions? We're not making a Lego game, we're making a Forza Horizon game that has Lego in it. So we needed to start doing some concepts for what the game could be. So this is a concept shot, and we draw the world, we start taking some elements from other Lego sets and we put them in. Some of them we have to kind of build, and we've built a couple of these in Lego Digital Designer and then taken photographs and put them into the concept. So you can see here that was a dinosaur graveyard. We've also got pirate ship. You know, it's a very iconic Lego set, that pirate ship as well. So we managed to take that and put it into the game. Put it into the concept. We took a shot of it and put it into the concept. And that shot was just from Lego Digital Designer and then touched up. And the same here, we've got a UFO crash site. So we kind of know what the game we want to do is and what it's going to look like. You'll notice in all of these, we had Lego cars. And obviously, it's Lego Speed Champions. That whole theme, that whole sub-brand of Lego is about cars. So we had to make sure that we were hitting the cars and making sure the cars looked as good as they possibly can. So let's start there. So we took the Lego Digital Designer car and we started to work up all of the detail on the car. When it comes from Lego Digital Designer, it's actually very, very low quality. It's not high enough quality for us to put in game. So this is the iconic McLaren Senna, but obviously made out of Lego. And we had to choose a scale. And what we wanted to do is try and simulate the feel of a theme park or Lego coming to life in the real world. So we needed to make our Lego bigger. We didn't want to create something that was fantasy in that, you know, you'd been shrunk down to the size of a minifig. We wanted to make something that felt like it made sense in the real world. So we saw that there was a picture of a Porsche that Lego had built, and it was a real life-size version of the Lego Speed Champions, and they'd made a big version of it. So it still looked like Lego, but actually you realized it was about 30 times bigger than the actual Lego car. And we did some measurements. We took this car, we took some of the other cars, we put them together with the real-life car, and we looked at how big we'd have to scale it up for it to be one-to-one with the real McLaren Senna. We ended up at 31 times, so every Lego block in Lego Speed Champions, Horizon 4 Lego Speed Champions, is 31 times bigger than a standard Lego block. So once we've done that, we built the cars. You can see that was the McLaren Senna, this is the Mini, and we also have a Ferrari F40 in the game. And we put them all together, and I'll come back and talk about some of the details in a minute. But we had those three cars. We were also lucky enough that Lego discussed with us, the Lego group discussed with us, we discussed what barn finds were, and we wanted to put a barn find in the game. Now a barn find is something that you go out and you find, but the car's not necessarily in great shape, you have to build it. And we did the same thing with Lego, so you can see a number of Lego parts here. we were very prescribed at what we could show and what we couldn't show, because we know what the car was, but Lego hadn't actually released this Speed Champions car yet. Does anybody know what it is? Okay. So we added a Porsche to the game. So we added a Porsche a couple of months ago to the game. You now have this free when you purchase the DLC. And we knew it was coming. We worked with Lego. They told us it was coming, and we were all prepared to make this game, make this car, and put it into the game as well. So now there are 4 Lego cars that you can drive. So now we have the cars, and we can drive them around, and it was quite fun to be able to get in these cars and drive them around. And it was also really great to have the car in front of you and be able to hold it up against the screen and look at the difference between the 2 cars. But this is where the tricky bit came, because actually now we wanted to build a whole town, a whole world made out of bricks. So this is Brickchester, as we call it, and you can see some of the iconic sets. These are sets from the Lego series that we've taken. We've had to make some adjustments to them so that we can they fit with what we need to do in game. But you can see that we did quite a good job of putting the Lego sets together and putting them in. We'll talk about some of the details again in a minute. But you can see that we go to quite a lot of detail to make sure that the world is looking good, all of the little fences here and the balustrades and those types of things. So we added quite a lot of areas to the world. Lego is known for its diversity, and we wanted to try and simulate this as well in game. Here you can see that we've got a racetrack. We also have an oasis, an airstrip, a stunt park. We have a festival, so we have the Horizon Festival, and to go with the Horizon Festival we also added a Lego Festival, which has some fairground rides. It has that iconic roller coaster from Lego in the background as well. And then it's Lego, so let's be a bit more creative. Let's add some pirate ships and a dinosaur graveyard and a UFO and some ghosts. You can see that it's following the kind of fun, creative theme that Lego has, and this is what we wanted to try and copy as well. You can also see that everything we've done has been original to Lego. So even the ghosts are glow-in-the-dark ghosts, but they're glowing in the dark with the correct kind of that green colour that glow-in-the-dark blocks have. So I showed the oasis earlier, and I just wanted to point out a few facts about what we did. So some of the things that I've spoken about are Lego sets. So you can easily see that you might recognise these from pirate Lego sets that you've got or you've seen, and even like the bushes at the bottom there. So we went and built some of the Lego trees. This was a Lego tree that we built. And then we went and built some of the other Lego trees. And while we were building them, we felt like, although they were Lego, they weren't necessarily right for what we needed because they were too small. They're very, very small trees, and if you have a look at some of the trees that we have in game, they need to be pretty massive. So what we had to do is we had to build our own assets, and the trees are one area where we did this. So we built some Lego trees. You can see that they're a lot bigger. And then we sent these off to Lego to say, are you happy with how they are built? Are they still fulfilling the Lego style? And they were. And it also fit the scale that we needed to produce. We also built some smaller ones, so these ones are smashable so that you can drive through them and all the bricks break apart. And they looked great. And we did this not just for trees. Some of our buildings were all custom, some of our assets were all custom. The dinosaur graveyard that you're seeing, they actually have a dinosaur, but it's about half the scale, and we felt it wasn't really impactful, so we couldn't just make the Lego bigger, because we've already set our scale for the Lego, and everything has to be the same size when it comes to Lego. You don't get 2 different Lego pieces, different sizes. So therefore we had to throw that dinosaur skeleton away and build our own to a different scale, and that's what we did. We still kept some of those iconic bushes. If anybody's ever trodden on one of these, you'll know that it's definitely an iconic Lego piece, and it's definitely one of the most painful as well. And we kept some of the trees as well that we had there, and you can see the other iconic Lego trees. What you'll notice in this shot is it's actually got snow on top of it as well. So Forza Horizon 4 is seasonal. Every week the seasons change, and the visuals of the world change. And we wanted to replicate this in Forza Horizon 4 Lego Speed Champions as well. So that means that we had to make sure that things like our trees also change colour with all of the seasons. So we needed to make sure that all of the trees can change colour and look great. And when it comes to colour, that's one of the other things that Lego are quite strict about. You don't get any type of Lego block or any colour of Lego block. You do get specific colours of Lego block. They sent us through their Lego palette. So the one at the top was actually sent to us from the Lego group. And we took those off and we also put them onto like a plastic transparent sheet so that we could see which ones of these blocks are actually transmitting light and what colour, translucent and letting light through, and what kind of colour happens when they come through. And then we built this in game. So we actually went and built a virtual version of this. You can see that we don't build all of the blocks because some of them we didn't need. Some of them are older, not supported Lego blocks anymore. Ignore the black studs for a minute. I'll kind of explain why they're black studs, but this was a dev kind of look of the colours. And it allowed us to put these next to each other and kind of balance out the colours and make sure that they were looking right. We actually use a NYX colour scanner, which is a little colour scanner that you can buy. And we scanned all of the Lego blocks in different conditions to make sure that we were hitting the right colour for all of this. And we do this for quite a lot of our assets. We colour correct them, we colour scan them, and we did this with the Lego. So while we're talking about rules, we had to make sure that whenever we had studs in game, so the little round bits at the bottom, that they were always shown correctly. Now, there is a lot of them in game, and we needed a way to draw these correctly. It's very difficult for us to draw that many polys, although it doesn't look like many polys in that circle. We wanted it to be as smooth and as realistic as we possibly could. And if you're looking at all of those studs and saying that maybe even 100 polys each for these studs, all of a sudden you've got millions of polys on screen there that you have to look after. So what we did is we moved them to a procedural system. So whenever we build our assets, similar to the slide that I showed earlier without studs on, the studs aren't actually there. We just put locators for where we want the studs, and we put the colour for where we want the studs. And this is a method of instancing objects. So whenever the game comes to a part of an object, so if we took this seat, for example, the information to how to draw that seat would be sent through to the GPU. The GPU would then break it down and go render it. That all takes processing power to be able to do all those steps. But if we know we're rendering stud after stud after stud after stud after stud, we can send that once through to the GPU, and then the GPU can instance it around the world. So we don't have to load the information for a stud every single time. And it's a great cost saving. We use it everywhere, not just on the studs, but wherever we can. If you think about the grass that we had in Forza Horizon, or the leaves and the trees and those types of things, we use this procedural technique whenever you've got multiple objects. But we wanted to try and use this procedural technique on the studs, and that's what we had to do to be able to achieve it. Not just having all of the studs as well, part of Lego is that everything had to clutch together. So clutch is the word that they use for when you snap two Lego bricks together and they fit and you shake it and they don't come apart. So whenever we wanted to place Lego on top of other Lego, we had to make sure that it was placed correctly. It may sound like an easy job, but whenever you're placing anything in the world and then you say, oh, you need to snap it to the correct kind of geometry, but we still want it to look organic and natural. It became something that we need to keep an eye on. And you can see that everything here is kind of like snapped down correctly or clutched together. All of the objects had to be built correctly as well, so we couldn't have any new random bits that we just invented. We couldn't have any bits that wouldn't hold together. So you can see here in the structure, it looks like that structure would actually be heavy enough to hold that signage. If you look at the signage itself, it looks exactly like the Lego signage, and that's because they sent us a list of print colours that they use for all of their stickers, and we were only allowed to use those print colours to make sure that we weren't adding any additional kind of colours to the Lego print kind of palette. So this is what I spoke about earlier. We needed to go redesign some of the blocks as well, and we needed to make sure that when we redesigned this, it all works. And although you probably won't be able to see it here, but in between each one of those bones is the little hinge piece from Lego to allow it to kind of bend over, which gives you that shape. So the artists had great fun, not only in making these to go in game, but also kind of like designing how they fit together. Some of it was done at their desk with Lego pieces, where they'd kind of try it out and then they'd make it in 3D, and some of it was done directly in 3D. The other thing we needed to do is we're trying to make it look realistic for Forza Horizon. We don't want to have, little sheets of, or little plates of Lego and then cars driving over the top. We're trying to make it look like this could actually exist in the real world. So even things like the underside of bridges have all got supports on, they've all got thickness. It all looks like the blocks would be able to support themselves. Obviously, Lego have a number of other rules, but they fall very closely in line with the Forza Horizon rules. There's no guns, no killing people, no burning of the minifigs or anything like that. They kind of fall very nicely in line with what we want to do, because we're a family-friendly game, and they're obviously a family-friendly toy as well. So I was going to talk a little bit about detail. So I just wanted to touch on a few points of all of the detail that we went to. So you can see that every Lego block has Lego written on it. You can see that the material on the front here, so the stickers that we have, I told you that they were the right color, but you can also see that they look like the right material. This is all the detail that we go to make sure that not only are we representing Lego correctly for Lego, but we're also representing it correctly for the player as well. So they feel like they're in this world and it is realistic. Even things down to the number of the Lego block and the copyright symbol inside the transparent block on the back of this Ferrari F40. Things like the color as well, so you can see that some of it is getting a transmissive, especially at the top right there, you can see some of it is starting to be a bit translucent as the sun is coming through. And we don't just do this for visuals as well, we also do it for audio. So this is one of our audio designers, and he is throwing Lego up and down. The astute will notice that it's not Lego, it is Duplo. And the reason for this is we tried it with Lego, but remember our Lego is 31 times bigger than the Lego of real world. So what we wanted to do is try some different things. We tried it with Duplo, and then we layered it and we pitch shifted it. So it felt like large Lego rather than real Lego. But we did all of this. We also added a radio station. We added Radio Awesome to the game that plays one song over and over again on loop without stopping. Once you've heard it, 500 times, it's probably enough, to be honest. So we also wanted to make sure that the rest of the game looked like Lego. So we had a look at the map, and how can we represent the map as best as we can. We had a look at the instruction kind of book, and we did a little prototype to say, can we make the map look like an instruction book? We tried it, it looked good. We changed the angle a little bit to try and make it a little bit steeper. It was good, we liked it, we liked the style of it. The problem we found is it's not very readable as a map. It looks cool, but it's not really doing its main function. So what we did is we decided to go slightly more realistic with the look and try and represent it as if it was really built and there was a camera there kind of showing you what it looked like. And this is the style that we settled on, and we knew this style, so what we wanted to do was check that we could go build every part of the world like this. So we built a few little dioramas, so this is the Lego graveyard, this is what the festival looks like, and then we also needed to represent seasons, so we did these little dioramas to test whether the seasons would work as well. And then we went and built the map. It took a while, there is a lot of Lego bricks there. We spoke to Lego and asked them if they wanted to build it for real, and they said, yeah, that'd be a really good idea, and then we showed them it and they said, no, that's too many Lego blocks. But you can see that quite a lot of the themes of Lego are being represented on the map as well. And when we speak about the themes, I spoke about lightheartedness earlier, and the lightheartedness of the game, the lightheartedness of the characters carries through everywhere. You can even see it in the animations. We're making sure that it looks the same. You can see it here in the Lego. We've got obviously the pig that you saw earlier. We've got the goats hiding there on top, and a few nods here and there to iconic Lego buildings. You'll also notice that we do things like, this is a high shot that you'll probably never see unless you're a dev. But if you have a look at the fields, they actually look like Lego blocks as well. So as you zoom out, the way that the fields are all laid out, they're kind of all square, so look like Lego blocks. And you can also start to see that we fade in a stud look. So that's what we did to create Lego. I've got a couple of facts that I just wanted to share with you. So you can see that we've got 4 Lego cars, we've got quite a lot of rocks, trees, smashables. 5.1 million studs, procedural studs were rendered in game. And we were rendering up to about 500,000 of these at one time as well. And these studs are only the procedural studs as well, so they aren't the things that move about. So the studs on the cars, the studs on the object, the studs on the animals, the studs on anything that animates isn't counted in there because they are part of the object as well. So this is only in the static world. So the last thing I wanted to mention is why we did all of this. Why do we go to so much effort? And the reason we do it is because we want to represent LEGO in the best way as possible, but also for Forza Horizon fans, we want to bring them something new, we want to bring them something exciting, and we want to bring them something that still fits with the quality and commitment that we put into Forza Horizon 4. I always like to end on a couple of shots taken by our community. So this was taken by a community poster. And it was using our in-game photo mode. He took the shot, he posted it. You can see that hopefully they're enjoying this. This person has completed all of LEGO, so this is what your house looks like when you completed it all. You can see that they're enjoying all of the details that we put in, so it's really important that we make sure that every single detail looks good. And we make sure that you can be creative and customized, so you can see all of the customization here that is allowed on your car as well. And we're trying to carry through not only Forza Horizon's customization, but also LEGO's. And then the final shot, I think that one was one of my favorites. Maybe not great quality on here, but yeah, I think it shows off everything that we worked on and the quality of LEGO. So thanks for listening. I know it was a whistle-stop tour. I will be about downstairs with my colleague Rosie. We do have a number of positions coming up for next year on the Forza Horizon and the RPG project. So we're always looking for talented grads. So it'd be great to come down. If you come down and speak to us later, I'd love to chat to you all. So thank you very much for your time.